He thought the job was his. Cleveland had other plans. Just when it looked like Shedeur Sanders was ready to take over the Cleveland Browns, a bombshell report dropped that could change everything about the 2026 season. This isn't just about a quarterback competition. This is about power, money, legacy, and a franchise standing at a crossroads. Because according to NFL Network's Cameron Wolfe, the Browns are not handing Shedeur the starting job. Not even close. Instead, they're preparing for a full-blown quarterback battle between the rookie and the $230 million man himself, Deshaun Watson. And that changes everything. Let's rewind for a second. Shedeur Sanders didn't walk into Cleveland as a quiet developmental project. He arrived with expectations, confidence, and the weight of a franchise desperate for stability at quarterback. When Dillon Gabriel went down with a concussion in Week 11, the door opened. Shedeur stepped in, and suddenly the future felt different. In 8 games, he threw for 1,400 yards and 7 touchdowns. The stat line wasn't explosive. It wasn't Rookie of the Year material. But it was steady, composed, promising. And in a season where the Browns stumbled to a 5-12 finish and landed dead last in the AFC North, hope became more valuable than numbers. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Hope doesn't guarantee a starting job. Cameron Wolfe made it clear. There is optimism for Shedeur in Cleveland, especially now that Todd Monken is the head coach. The belief inside the building is that Monken's offensive flexibility could unlock more of Shedeur's playmaking ability than what he had under Kevin Stefanski. That sounds encouraging, until you hear the rest, because Deshaun Watson is back throwing, back training, back preparing. After missing the entire 2025 season rehabbing a right Achilles tendon injury, Watson has started working again with quarterback coach Quincy Avery. And according to Wolfe, the Browns believe Watson will absolutely be involved in the competition. Let that sink in. This isn't symbolic. This isn't ceremonial. This is real. The Browns owe Watson $230 million. Fully guaranteed. That contract isn't sitting quietly in the background. It's standing in the middle of the room. You don't just bench $230 million without a fight. And now the Browns are walking into training camp with 2 completely different futures colliding at the same position. On one side, you have Shedeur Sanders. Young, mobile, confident, still developing. A player who showed flashes but hasn't proven he can carry a franchise. On the other side, you have Deshaun Watson. Veteran, experienced, once elite, recovering from a devastating injury, and carrying the heaviest contract in NFL history. This isn't just a football decision. It's a financial gamble. It's a locker room test. It's a statement about what the Cleveland Browns truly believe about their future. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Todd Monken wasn't brought in to rebuild slowly. He wasn't hired to oversee another transitional year. After Kevin Stefanski was fired following a 45-56 record over 6 seasons, ownership made it clear they want progress. Now Monken's arrival changes the tone. Wolfe pointed out that there's belief his offense offers more flexibility. Under Stefanski, the system had structure, rhythm, and defined reads. It didn't always allow for improvisation. Shedeur thrives in improvisation. His best moments last season didn't come from scripted perfection. They came when plays broke down, when he extended the pocket, when he trusted his instincts. Monken's offense could amplify that. But flexibility cuts both ways. A more open system could also benefit Watson. Before the injuries, before the inconsistency, Watson's best football came when he created outside structure. He was dangerous when plays went off schedule, when protection broke, when chaos happened. If Monken truly installs a system that encourages playmaking, both quarterbacks benefit. And that means this battle could be tighter than anyone expected. But the quarterback situation isn't happening in isolation. Cleveland is preparing to attack the draft aggressively. 2 first-round picks. Multiple offensive needs. And according to Wolfe, don't be surprised if they go heavy on offense. General Manager Andrew Berry has been clear. The defense is close to set. The issues lie on offense, wide receiver depth, offensive line reinforcements, and of course, solving the quarterback question. But here's the twist. Don't expect the Browns to draft a quarterback in the first round. That's right. Even with uncertainty at the most important position in football, Cleveland may choose to build around the competition rather than replace it. That signals belief. Belief that the answer is already on the roster. The question is, who? Let's talk about Shedeur's rookie season more honestly. The numbers, 1,400 yards, 7 touchdowns, don't scream franchise savior. But context matters. He stepped in mid-season. The offensive line struggled. The receiver group lacked explosion. The team was spiraling. Yet he didn't implode, he didn't look overwhelmed, he didn't look scared. There were mistakes. Of course. Rookie hesitation. Forced throws. Timing issues. But there were also flashes, tight window throws, calm fourth-quarter drives, moments where the offense looked alive. And sometimes, in Cleveland, alive has been rare, but is promising enough to push aside a veteran with a $230 million investment. That's the real tension here. Because Watson's return isn't just about recovery. It's about redemption. He hasn't played a full, dominant season in Cleveland. Injuries and inconsistency have defined his tenure so far. The Achilles injury wiped out 2025 entirely. For some fans, that absence created emotional distance. The team moved on without him. They adjusted. They gave the rookie a chance. And sometimes, when a team adapts without you, it's hard to step back in seamlessly. But make no mistake, if Watson looks even close to his pre-injury self during camp, the conversation changes dramatically. Because experience matters. Arm talent matters. Big game reps matter. And money absolutely matters. So where does that leave Shedeur? In the most important summer of his life. Training camp will not be about development. It will be about separation. He has to be sharper, more decisive, more explosive. He can't just look promising. He has to look undeniable. And here's the hidden layer most fans aren't talking about. Locker room dynamics. Veterans watch everything. They feel momentum shifts. If Shedeur commands the huddle, connects with receivers, and shows command of Monken's system, support will grow organically. But if Watson walks in healthy, confident, and throwing lasers in 7-on-7 drills, there will be gravity pulling toward the veteran. This isn't just coach's choice. It's cultural alignment. And Monken's first major decision as head coach might define his tenure before it truly begins. Because whoever wins this job becomes the symbol of the new era. If it's Shedeur, Cleveland is saying the future starts now. If it's Watson, Cleveland is saying the investment still deserves belief. And that draft strategy adds another layer of suspense. 2 first-round picks give Cleveland flexibility. They can grab a dynamic wide receiver to help either quarterback. They can reinforce the offensive line to protect both. They can reshape the offensive identity entirely. But not drafting a quarterback means doubling down on this battle. It means ownership is willing to live with the outcome. Good or bad. And that's bold. But here's the curiosity gap nobody's fully addressing yet. What if neither quarterback truly separates? What if camp ends in ambiguity? Do the Browns lean toward the money? Or toward the momentum? Do they prioritize sunk cost or upside? That decision will ripple beyond 2026. Because if Shedeur wins, Watson's future in Cleveland becomes complicated financially and strategically. If Watson wins, Shedeur's development timeline changes. And so does the narrative around his draft selection. This isn't just a competition. It's a fork in the road. And for a franchise that has struggled to find quarterback stability for decades, every fork feels heavier. Let's also talk about expectations. Cleveland isn't rebuilding from scratch. The defense is competitive. The roster isn't barren. Andrew Berry believes they're close. Close teams don't want uncertainty at quarterback. They want clarity, which means whoever wins this job must elevate immediately. No long runway. No year-long evaluation. Results will matter fast, and that pressure favors experience, but hunger favors youth. Shedeur doesn't carry contract expectations. He carries opportunity. Watson doesn't carry development patience. He carries obligation. 2 very different kinds of weight, and weight affects performance. The fascinating part of Wolf's report wasn't just that Watson will compete. It was that the Browns genuinely believe in the battle. This isn't posturing. It's preparation. They're building the roster with the assumption that both quarterbacks will have a fair shot. And in today's NFL, true open competitions at quarterback are rare when massive contracts are involved. That tells you something. It tells you Cleveland isn't blindly committed. They're evaluating. And that evaluation could reshape the AFC North. Because if the Browns get this right, if Monken's system unlocks either quarterback fully, Cleveland suddenly becomes unpredictable, dangerous, relevant. But if they get it wrong, if indecision bleeds into the regular season, if confidence wavers, the 5-12 record could repeat itself. And patience in the NFL is short. Especially in Cleveland. So here's the question that might define this entire offseason. Is this about giving Shedeur a real shot? Or is this about giving Watson one last chance? Because those are not the same thing. One represents a fresh chapter. The other represents unfinished business. And sometimes, franchises struggle most when they try to honor both at once. Monken's flexibility will be tested. Barry's draft strategy will be scrutinized. Ownership's financial gamble will be analyzed. But ultimately, the answer will show up on Sundays, and training camp will give us the first real clues. Watch the footwork. Watch the red zone efficiency. Watch who the receivers gravitate toward after practice. Watch who commands the room. Because quarterback competitions aren't won in press conferences, they're won in subtle details. Right now, the Browns are standing on a fault line between past investment and future potential. And the ground is already starting to shake. So let's bring this to you. If you're Cleveland's decision maker, who do you trust to lead this team into the season? Shedeur Sanders with upside and momentum, or Deshaun Watson with experience and a $230 million contract to justify? And here's the deeper layer. It's smarter to build around a young quarterback while stacking the offense in the draft, or to ride with the veteran and hope health restores what once made him elite. Drop your take in the comments. Not just a name, tell me why. Because this quarterback battle isn't just a camp storyline, it's the defining drama of Cleveland's future. And the choice they make will echo far beyond Week 1.